genius minds, welcome to your grade 7 reasoning and aptitude book, and we are going to start with chapter number 7, that is direction sense test. And I believe that every session is taking you one step ahead and making you more brilliant, more logical and more smarter child, isn't it? So here we have a teacher telling the students that we will understand the concept of map, and with the help of map we'll be learning that what are actually directions. And so the teacher is presenting the map on the board and students are so much thrilled. And the first question that comes from the teacher is that which district is to the south of Madurai, and everyone is thrilled looking for where is Madurai, beautifully located, and they want to search something that is on the south of Madurai. Can you answer looking at the map? Perfect, that is Virudhnagar and another one is Thoothukudi. Now we have next question. Children are again looking at the screen and the question comes that which district is on the east and the west of Coimbatore. Help them out, and here we got the answer. We have Tirupur on the east, but on the west we do not have any district. And it was rightly answered by Revati. So teacher appreciated Revati, and the next question comes is that in which direction is Chennai with respect to Tiruvannamalai. So we will first go to Tiruvannamalai and see that where is Chennai. And it was rightly spotted, that is northeast. This way different questions were asked by the teacher and students were having fun looking at the map and giving the correct answer. So children, I want you also to be genius and smart enough to understand the directions, and for that I am explaining you the first 4 basic directions which are called cardinal directions, that is north, south, east and west. This direction is north. When you look here, this is south, this is east and this is west. And every direction which is adjacent is making the angle of 90 degrees. Then we come at ordinal directions. Apart from these cardinal directions, we have 4 more directions which come in between these main directions. So this is northeast, this is southeast, this is south and west, and this one is northwest. Interesting and so easy to understand, isn't it? Now after that we'll understand that when you take a movement, it is always cyclic, and cyclic directions are either clockwise. When I say clockwise, that means you are moving in the direction as the clock moves, and another one is anti-clockwise direction, that is opposite to the movement of clock. And further, sometimes when you need to find the distance and it is not a straight movement, and especially it forms a right angle triangle like it is one over here, we follow a Pythagoras theorem which is applicable to formation of every right angle triangle. So here, if this is a base and this is perpendicular and the angle between base and perpendicular is 90 degree, then this shortest distance is said as hypotenuse. And to find the value of hypotenuse, it is always the square root of the square of base plus the square of perpendicular. So if I want to get AC, then AC is the square root of AB square, which is here, plus BC square, which is the base. And then we come at the situation of sunrise and sunset. You know, during sunrise, the sun is always in the east direction, and so the shadow falls in the west direction. Whereas during sunset, the sun is in the west direction, so the shadow will always fall in the east direction. Now, understanding the entire concept of directions, I have brought this figure for you. So, let's say that we first talk about the basic directions. This is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west. And then 4 more directions, that is northeast, we have southeast here, then this is southwest, and here we have northwest. From north, if you look at right, it is always east, and from north, if you look at left, it is always west. Similarly, if you are standing in west, you move towards right, it is always north, and when you move towards left, it is always south. Coming at south, if you are facing towards south, your right direction is always west and left direction is always east. Isn't it so easy to understand here? Now, when you see that northeast is making the angle of half of 90 degree, we say it is always 45 degree. And from east to north, it is 90 degree. Now, when I talk about northeast to northwest, can you help me to get the angle? Exactly, this is 45 and this is another 45. So, we get the angle of 45 plus 45, that is 90 degree. And further, I have brought one question. So, let's say this is a starting point. A person is moving towards east direction by 20 meters. Then he moves towards north by 15 meters, turning right and moving 25 meters more, and then he turns right again and moves 15 meters. The question is that how far is he from the starting point? See, we will be taking this 20 meter and this distance is equal to 25 meters, right? So, 20 plus 25 gives you 45 meters, which is the distance between the starting and the ending point. Now, look here. We have a sunrise. You know, sun always rises in the east, and from the east, if we have a person, the shadow will go to west. That's cool. And at the time of sunset, we'll have the sun on this direction, that is on west. So, the shadow will come on east. So, it is very clearly picturized here. I hope the concept is clear to you. Now, we will do some examples. So, reading the first question, Arnav left home and he cycled 10 kilometers towards south. And this is his home. We are showing it with the picture of 10 kilometers. Then he turned right. Turning right means he is going to west direction and he cycled 5 kilometers. So, we indicated with 5 kilometers here, and further he again take a right turn and cycle for 10 kilometers here. So, this movement goes towards north direction, and further he turned left and he cycled 10 kilometers. So, this point becomes his finishing point. The question is how many kilometers will he have cycled to reach his home straight. So, here what will you do? You will just see that this is 10 kilometers and this distance is 5 kilometers. So, 10 plus 5 becomes 15, right? And we get 15 kilometers. That's B is the right option. Brilliant children. I know you have understood the concept clearly. Take another example. Deepthi walked 30 meters towards north. So, he started moving from the starting point and go towards north direction, and then she turned right and walked 30 meters. So turning to right and moving another 30 meters, and again she turned right and walked 55 meters. So from here, turning to right means moving towards south direction, and this distance is 55 meters, and then she turns left. So here left is towards east. She is moving 20 meters, and then again she walked finally towards left by 25 meters, and this is 25 meters. Now the question is, in which direction is she now from her starting point? So we will just see the image here, and we see that what was the starting point? This is the starting point, and this is east of the starting point, right? So we say that the correct option is C. Understood? So question can ask you how much far is she away from the starting point. It can be she is in which direction. So you have to appropriately check what is asked in the question and then give the answer. Now coming to the next example here, Rachit and Sanchit were talking to each other face to face one morning. If Rachit's shadow was exactly to the left of Sanchit, which direction was Rachit facing? Now let's understand the solution. We know the sun rises in the east in the morning. So we are making sun here. Rachit and Sanchit are facing each other, and Rachit's image, that is shadow, is falling in this direction. That means Rachit is facing towards south direction, and we say that C is the correct option. So I believe when you could draw and picturize the entire question statement, you will promptly get the correct answer. And in this way, now your time to solve the exercise. So a little brainstorming will be done. You will be drawing the entire layout of the question will be made on the paper, keeping in mind the directions, the turn, the sunrise, and even the sunset. And don't forget that what is 45-degree turn, what is 90-degree turn, and when you take the distance from north and south, it is always half the curve, that is 180-degree. Similarly, the distance between east and west also is of 180-degree. So make sure that whatever question is given, you have to keep the track on the clock. You have to keep the track on sunrise, sunset and directions, and this way you will be able to get the distance between the final and the ending position and become a super smart child. All the best. Start doing these questions now.